Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the One Nation of Gamers 2016 circuit. My name is TJ. Once again, I'm joined by the Tannen Grace, and we're about halfway through this broadcast day. We're going to jump into the third place match next, it looks like. So it is going to be between Prophecy and Pacoima. There is stuff on the line here. There's a little bit more money for third place. There's also some more Geico points for third place. Never underestimate those Geico points. So what were your thoughts on these two gentlemen's decks from what we saw in their semifinal matches, Tannen?
It's pretty interesting. Pacoima's lineup looked really anti-aggro. His loss to Chess Dude in the first round was a little unfortunate. He took that one line at a turn that was really aggressive, and it looked like there was no way that he could possibly die from there. But Chess Dude had, like 14 points of burst from hand to be able to win. And then I'm really liking this other lineup because he's got a Shaman deck in it, and it's not just the typical Shaman deck that we see. It's not just, all Smork all day long. I mean, we saw some really cool and interesting cards in there. There was an Elise in there. There was a Halazeal in there as well. Some cards that I haven't even seen in play yet. So I'm super excited to see what else he had in that deck. I think this could be a very interesting match that goes pretty long.
Yeah, it could be. Yeah, I'd say that it's going to be. There's some of these decks are like mid-range control, like the Bloodlust Shaman could end really quickly against control.
Yeah.
Dragon Priest, no, Shoop had the Dragon Priest. Well, we haven't seen Prophecy's Priest, so it could end really quickly because you can sort of tempo your opponent out of the game. Mm-hmm. So there is situations that you can get into where these control matchups can go quickly. There's not many matchups that come down to like Elise versus Elise anymore. The Golden Monkey versus Golden Monkey. The control matchups aren't as slow because the game isn't as figured out yet. Right. So I don't think we're going to be in for too many Resident Sleeper matches. I think we have some fun matches on our hands.
Absolutely, and I think you made a good point with the Bloodlust and the Shaman deck. If Pacoima doesn't know it's there, like he can easily just lose a game to that card. Because let's be honest, you always lose a game to Bloodlust. And then you're like, oh, yeah, I forgot that card exists. That card is still in the game. And you won't see it for a little while at a time. And then all of a sudden these totems come out of nowhere to like 15 you in a turn where you thought that you were going to be safe. So definitely a chance for some quick wins on either side. Pacoima's playing the Paladin deck that we've seen a lot of big streamers and stuff play over the last few days too. And it looks like that's the first deck he's going to lead off with, which is what he did in his semifinal match as well. So sticking true to his guns there. And it does look like this is Dragon Priest.
Yeah, it is. I think it's the strongest iteration of Priest right now. I think if you're bringing Priest, you're going to bring this deck. Control Priest got almost no tools. They got Embrace the Shadows, which is what turns your killing spells into damage spells. And it also got, which means you're 2-for-1ing by nature. And it also got the Darkshire Alchemist, if I'm remembering the name of that card correctly. It's the 5-mana Priest card that is a 4/5 that also heals for 5, which is great in combination with Embrace the Shadows or with Arcanized Soul Priest. It's also just good against aggro because it's a strong body that heals, similarly to like Shield Maiden in the past. So it did get some tools, but they're not nearly enough to sort of push it over the edge. It lost Light Bomb, which is like the biggest deal.
That's the biggest point, is like it lost Light Bomb. And honestly, I'm really sad that we're not seeing Shifting Shade just yet in Priest decks. I'm a big fan of that card. I just like what it does. It's a good 4-drop. It contests a lot of cards. It draws an extra card when it dies, which is something I want. Plus, it combos with Zoth pretty well. So I want to see the Priest version of that deck start happening.
Yeah, I mean it could. You can play Museum Curator, which a lot of times equals that card. What's it called? Shifting Sand.
Right.
Well, because class cards are weighted heavily in discover mechanics, in class card discover mechanics, so you're very likely to discover that card when you play Museum Curator as one of your options, since it is a death rattle. And it also gives you flexibility. But yeah, it's going to be interesting to see how Priest evolves over the course of the next couple weeks.
Something I'm really interested in this match is how good Entomb is going to be. This feels like this card is bonkers against this Paladin deck. They have some really, really good targets to Entomb. There's not one, but 2 Ragnaros in the other deck. Ragnarai?
Ragnarai. I believe that's the correct pronunciation of multiple Ragnaros is Ragnarai. Thank you.
Okay. I'm glad we have you here to fix the Hearthstone nomenclature, TJ. That we got to make sure we get it right. We want to be correct.
Yeah. Well,
And
that's some
value
that, yeah, that's some brand value if I've ever seen it. 2 extra health on a Twilight Whelp.
Here's the thing. Do you just go 50-50 on this Stampeding Kodo here?
Well, I think either outcome's good.
Yeah, either outcome's good.
One better, but
yeah, you're definitely worried about Bran. Obviously, like it's never a card that you want to leave sitting around. Like as we can see, that Prophecy doesn't really have a lot of ways to abuse it again in the next turn unless he top decks something that's really good with it. But when you're sitting on the other side of the board, it's always scary to leave that around. And here comes the 50-50. Oh, Bran bites the dust.
Yes, it does. And wow, so oh man, is that Infested Torrent? Is that what that card is called? I just call it the Torrent.
Yeah. The card that seems a tiny bit weak, but really good when you play your 10-drop. You know, like I remember when I was first playing this on stream, people were asking me, why aren't you just playing Sinjin Sealed Master? Because it's just like a better card usually on curve against aggressive decks. Yeah. I'm like, well, you know, that guy doesn't come back when I play my 10-drop, but I can definitely see it. And we're going to see, a nice little trade up here on the back of this Blackwing Corruptor. Good thing that the brand didn't stay around, or that Blackwing Corruptor to be able to just take care of that by itself.
Yeah.
You know, one of the main reasons I really like this Paladin deck, you get to play all the Peacekeepers. You get to play Aldor, Peacekeeper, and you get to play Keeper of Uldamon. And I think both of those cards are pretty strong right now with the way that these decks are going. They're either like these aggressive decks that have very high power minions for their cost. You know, you get these 7/7s for 4, or you get to turn some big dragon or 10/10, 10-drop into a 3/3 and trade into it. So I think it's one of the main reasons people really like this Paladin deck.
Yeah, it just has a lot of answers. And in a meta right now where not many decks have that many answers, like there's a lot of decks that can't answer a 4-mana 7/7. Druid's having to play Mulch in order to answer a 4-mana 7/7.
I would just rather not play Druid, honestly.
Yeah. I think Druid has its place. I think it's strong. But all right, now we're going to see one of the reasons why Priest seems like it's going to do really well against this deck. Cabal Shadow Priest could steal Infested Tauren. Entomb could steal a Cairn. You can just get rid of all of his Death Rattle stuff. And then N'Zoth is basically a 10-mana 5/7. He can Entomb the Tyrion as well in 2 turns.
Yeah, firing off an Entomb there on a Cairn, while it feels good, I think Pacomo, especially since he has something like Tyrion in his hand, isn't exactly like super mad about that happening. Mm-hmm. You know, because like now his Ragnarai and his Tyrion are a little safer because, you know, some of these decks only run 1. If they have 2, they only have 1 left. And that's how he's going to have to win this game, is he needs some of these big drops either stick around or die so he gets the value off of them when they come back. I mean, Entomb is just such a good answer versus all the Death Rattle guys.
Yeah. I don't know what he's really debating over here. There's just not many good options. You can Stampede Kodo and just kill off the 2/1, but then he gets traded into really easily by the Blackwing Corruptor unless he uses Humility. But is this really a target that he wants to Humility?
Well, if you're going to Humility, I think you Humility first, so you have another 50-50 at just actually killing the guy first. I guess you could, if you Humility, then you can't make a 1/1 as well, and that's the problem because like the 1/1 helps challenge this guy. But this is just I think a much better board state to get yourself into, is to just actually have it this way. So I like taking the 50-50 shot there if you're going to be playing the Stampeding Kodo that turn.
Yeah.
Yeah, all right, well, he's not under a ton of pressure, so.
Yeah, might as well draw. He does have a Lee Star, so you're going to play with this extra 4 mana. Or, a Twilight Guardian, which seems like it matches up much better against the board, protects the smaller stuff, doesn't get traded into as easily from this board, and also doesn't get punished by Consecrate at all. So, really strong play there. And now if Pacoma plays Tyrion, he's going to be in all sorts of despair.
Yeah, I have a feeling if Tyrion gets played this turn, this game's going to speed up drastically over the next turn.
Yeah.
You're going to see a snap Entomb and then a lot of damage getting pushed to face. And so I think that's something he's trying to consider, like, what are my best plays here? What are my worst players here? If Tyrion sticks, it's great, obviously. But if he does have a way to kill this, what position am I in after that? Never thought I would miss Doctor Boom so much. You know, you could just run a Doctor Boom out here, and if he entombs that, then you're free to do whatever you want. But
I mean, this is going to be the best time to play Tyrion because this is the least likely time that your opponent is going to have their second entomb. So,
yep.
But yeah, this is going to be a snap call from Prophecy. I don't think there's any hesitation here. Maybe on how he trades afterwards, if he wants to like heal up the Twilight first to draw a card, or if he wants to attack into the Stampeding Kodo, kill it off, and then clear. But yeah, Pakorma's one sad dude right now.
Yeah, you can see the reaction there. I think he just had to go for it. I agree with you. I think this is the best time to go ahead and do that. And Prophecy's going to even push a little bit of damage here, and he's been holding onto the coin the whole game as well. Hasn't really had a spot where he needs to play it, but it actually represents another legendary in this match too with Elise, because this is the kind of game that could go pretty long. This Paladin deck is geared to go pretty long and get to these late games, and you're going to have that turn where that 10-mana legendary comes in and a whole bunch of stuff hits the board again. So not having Light Bomb, you don't have a clean answer to that. So maybe you need to be able to deal with some board like that by just having all of your own bombs.
Yeah. And finding some answers still. He's got Aldor Peacekeeper, but there's not really anything worth Aldor Peacekeepering. I'd imagine he just lay on hands right now to try and find answers. Nothing else seems to jump out at me. I mean, he might try and find answers with Solemn Vigil, but it feels like a turn where he Quality Consecrates is going to be a better turn to use that Solemn Vigil.
Yeah, I think I agree with you. It's just a better use of your mana to go ahead and just use the 8 mana now and keep the cheaper options for later. Like you said, there's probably going to be a better turn where he gets a cheaper Solemn Vigil. He's going to go ahead and Keeper Voldemon this Twilight Drake. Kind of make it to where he can actually fight this on the board. All right.
Oh!
And, the Tyrion is immediately drawn by Prophecy here.
He can even Power Word Shield it. Make a 6/8 Tyrion. What? It's OP.
If the card wasn't good enough to begin with.
Yeah. Again, I think this is too strong to pass up.
Do you start doing some trading?
I mean, maybe. Like a Quality Consecrate would punish you, but if your opponent Quality Consecrates, all of a sudden you have a Ysera and you have a 5/5 Ashbringer.
Yeah, I kind of like just getting Tyrion into play and start getting busy. Yeah, this is fine too. This allows him to have some cleaner trades if he wants. Here, doesn't really need to draw more cards if he wants to use his Northshire Cleric. If he wanted to run it into Keeper of Voldemort, but this is completely fine as well. This puts so much pressure. God, does Bakoimi have a way out of this? I mean, you can lay on hands here to like gain a bunch of life and draw some cards, maybe find something like Equality, but do you put like Wild Pyromancer into play first just to make sure you can get the Divine Shield gone, possibly? But no, then that cuts into your Equality outs. I mean, you still have the Consecration sitting around, so...
I mean, you can Consecration, trade in, and then play Aldor Peacekeeper to reduce the attack of the Tyrion, so... That still gets rid of a lot of damage. It also means you can Solemn Vigil. So, it's not too bad. He is taking a lot of pressure, though, is the thing. Is he going to have enough time to heal out of range of all this stuff? And he's going to act like he takes the Aldor Peacekeeper off the top. Also doesn't give any information over to Prophecy of what cards he might have picked up. Or has in his hand.
I like starting with Azure Drake. You got, you don't. Well, I guess Elise is fine as well.
Elise, with Elise, you give yourself a better opportunity to draw into the map.
Yeah, that's true.
But it also means you give yourself a worse opportunity to draw into whatever's in your deck. So this means that he wants to draw into the map as quick as possible.
All right, so you're definitely going to be taking the trade into Keeper of Voldemort here. Do you ever Power Word Shield your Tyrion here? I think you're almost like okay if it dies, right? Or are you worried about something like Harrison Jones?
He might be, but I think, you want it to die. Fix the map.
There you go. Just keeps putting things into his deck and drawing them right away.
Oh my goodness.
That was pretty dirty of a draw here. from Kokoima. He can take care of this Tyrion here and kill the Ashbringer, giving himself a ton of extra cards here. That was one hell of a draw off the top of the deck there.
Yeah. But the thing is, that was his card.
Yeah.
That was his card to begin with.
Thanks for the Ashbringer. That's why the Harrison Jones is in this deck. He knows that his Tyrion is getting entombed, and he knows that he needs to kill the Ashbringer. Oh boy.
Yeah.
This game just got really interesting.
Yeah. Still can't clear off much stuff. But he does now have the Equality Consecration or Equality Wild Pyromancer, so that makes everything else seem a lot better.
Yeah. So
And
what is your other play this turn? I mean,
like
I gotta believe he's gonna do something defensive, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So Aldor down the Azure Drake. Okay, remove some power from the board. Man, but now Prophecy's the one that's up against it. No really good Cabal Shadow Priest targets, and he's got 2 of those in his hand. I mean, he could steal a 1/1 here, but that's not super high impactful. Shadow Word Pain and Shadow Word Death both have targets.
Yeah.
I guess you could just clear him. You could like Shadow Word down his 5/4, Shadow Word down his 3/3, trade into the 3/2, trade into the 1/6. And you could still play the map if you want, or you could just get a Twilight Guardian into play. I think I would like to develop possibly. I mean, you're running into Equality Consecrate pretty hard here.
But you're also running out of time because you know that your opponent just drew through a lot of their deck. They're probably going to clear your board, and there hasn't been too many Death Rattles that have been played. Well, N'Zoth. What's the wording on N'Zoth? Is it played or is it killed?
I'm gonna look it up real quick.
Yeah, I got summon your Death Rattle minions that died this game. So,
no, he would not get the Tyrion back.
but it was your Death Rattle minion.
Yeah, but that's not how Hearthstone works.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah.
That's true.
So I came
gets entombed, it's not yours anymore.
I came from another game where it works differently, and the first time my opponent like stole one of my minions, I played sap on it because in that game, if like you steal one of my minions and then I return it to your, it returns to the owner's hand, it goes to my hand. But then when I sapped it, it went back to their hand. I was like, oh wait, that's how it works in this game. That's a little unfortunate. I ended up losing because of it.
Yeah.
All right, so it looks like he's just going to go with the Death Rattle plays this turn. Hopefully, there isn't a way that he dies from here, and he can get a lot of value from his Inzaroth on the next turn as well. Now, this is a pretty good Cabal Shadow Priest target.
Yep.
You can even just Shadow Word Pain if you wanted to, but I gotta believe he's gonna go with the minion here. And Oklahoma does have Wild Pyromancer Equality next turn if he wants to kind of clean all this up, but he's starting to take a lot of damage.
Yeah, he's gonna go down to below 10 here, and I can imagine that's pretty scary, but it can't be that scary because, I mean, how's a priest going to burst you?
Ysera?
There's not that many cards. Ysera, yeah, but, he'd have to get multiple turns of it. So,
Ysera, or like something crazy with the Golden Monkey could happen. He could get like King Crushed, out of nowhere.
Yeah. And Wild Pyromancer Equality would leave Pacoima with a 2/2 slime because of the order that the Death Rattles were played. He played the Infested Torrent first. So the Infested Torrent will die before the Sylvanas Steel resolves. So he will steal the 2/2 after everything is said and done if he uses Wild Pyromancer Equality.
Really heads up sequencing there for Pacoima for sure.
Hopefully not by accident.
Yeah, I'm sure he's gotten it from playing this deck enough.
Yeah.
I felt like whenever I played this deck, I learned like 4 new things every game I played.
Yeah.
This deck felt so weird to play the first time or two I played, especially since pretty much all the Paladin I've played over the last year has been Secret Paladin. So I was like, wait a minute, I'm not supposed to just beat my opponent down. I'm supposed to just kill their guys.
Yeah. So here it comes. I can imagine it's just going to be a True Silver equip and a Solemn Vigil use. And yep, Did he even attack? Wow. What's he afraid of? It seemed like he got in that attack. Maybe it's just to start pressuring, but I'm not quite sure. He did get everything off, though. You can see because the rope is still burning, so it doesn't really pick up anything too worthwhile. Humility can deal with the big threat, and he does have lay on hands as well.
Yeah, I think he's still got a Stampeding Kodo in his deck, so if something like Ysera were to come out, he can Humility plus Stampeding Kodo, but right now, this Ysera may go unchecked for a turn.
Laughing Sister. Ragnaros the Light Lord.
The double negative.
Yeah. I don't know if Prophecy's gonna be able to find a way to win this. I mean, Pacoima's just gonna be able to sort of refill his board here with N'Zoth. I think Sylvanas and... Is it just Sylvanas that died? Holy moly.
Yeah, because the Torian got taken from him, and the Tyrion got taken from him, and the Karen got taken from him as well, right? There's still a Karen over in Prophecy's deck as well. So right now it's just Sylvanas. Like, as if that's not that great. It's just Sylvanas, right?
Yeah. And he's
actually going with pressure.
Yeah, and this is sort of how you win. It's just with pressure. There's not really a way for Prophecy to sort of deal with this type of board. He might just have to sort of go face and pray. That's usually not the best way to go, especially in this deck where you know that it runs so much healing. Lay on Hand's still in there. Ragnaros the Light Lord's still in there. You can't really play big stuff because it'll get stolen.
Yeah, exactly. I guess you could Wormers Angel plus like Cabal Shadow Priest to be as defensive as possible this turn. And you may just coin out a Laughing Sister. Is it something that you want to be doing here? Or are you still thinking about saving this coin for a possible Golden Monkey?
Wow, respecting the board so much.
Yeah. All right, yeah, he's gonna go ahead and work on his life total here. Start getting those heals in when he can. Gets another Dream card here. He picks up a dragon, just in case he needs another dragon activator.
Mm-hmm.
All right, another quality added here for Bacoma. So he's found an answer to Ysera if that's something that he wants to get in, that he wants to do this turn.
I don't know how worried he is about Ysera, because if he has to get rid of this Ysera, he's getting rid of his own board too. He can take like a 50-50 to steal the Ysera, but then that Ysera would just die at the following turn because he wouldn't have a way to remove whatever is left on board. And if he gives up this board, he effectively just gave up his win conditions. He just doesn't have any stuff left. He's got Ragnaros the Light Lord, but that's it.
Yeah, I mean, like, you could, like, Equality take care of two of the threats out of Prophecy and then just play Ragnaros, but that's, like, not amazing. Like you said, you're giving up on some of your win conditions here. Plus, you steal something with Sylvanas, so you would only have one minion left. Whatever he's going to do, he needs to do it fast.
Mm-hmm.
Wild Pyromancer Equality here? Is that what's going on? Oh, no. It's Humility. Okay. So he's going to take the 50-50 on stealing the... Oh, he misses the Ysera here, so... Ysera's going to stick around another turn for Prophecy here.
And that... Now, Pacoima's out of stuff. What does he even have left? Does he even have any threats left? Prophecy can pretty much just outvalue right now. He could just keep himself healthy and just make sure that Pacoima just can't really have stuff stick on the board. Because Pacoima's starting to run out of cards, so all of a sudden these card draw spells aren't really that enticing.
I mean, he's got this Ragnaros stuff. Does he have the other Ragnaros still as well? So he's got the Ragnarai left?
I'd imagine so, yeah. Did we see one for sure the last time we saw him play this deck?
Yeah, we haven't seen one for sure. But a lot of these lists are running both of them, so...
Yeah.
There's going to be a Laughing Sister here for Prophecy. Really taking his time on this one. Yeah, I don't think there's anything he needs to worry about dying from here. He's got 10 life points to work with. Quimma's only got 7 power in play on the other side, and the Paladin deck is not known for its burst. Oh, he does have a one-sided clear here if he wants. There will be a body left over from Karen, but you can trade into that. But then you're giving up on your win conditions again. So
I don't know if you really have. I don't know. I don't know if you have too much of a choice in the matter. Just because, like, how else do you just deal with this? You can just Ragnaros Light Lord, but it's not guaranteed to hit your face.
Mm-hmm.
It might just hit one of your other minions unless you trade them both in. And if you're going to trade them both in anyway, you might as well just Quality Consecrate to clear and then play the Ragnaros next turn to guarantee. So it's not looking good for Pacoima right now unless the last 4 cards in this deck are all big threats.
Yeah, and if you lay on hands into them, you start to get yourself into fatigue a lot sooner as well. And you know that Prophecy has a Golden Monkey somewhere sitting in that deck. Kwame taking the full time on all of his turns here. This is a rough spot to be in too. All right, so he's gonna trade here Quality Consecrate. Is that what's going on here? Yeah. Misses 2. Oh, there we go. He got in the attack for the 2 damage. Okay. All right. These little Silverhand recruits are gonna have to do a lot of work this game.
Ooh, Shadow for Death picked up.
Yeah, that's gonna be an answer to the Ragnaros that's sitting over in Pacoima's hand.
Yeah, I think this is a free pass to Nefarian at the moment.
Yeah, I kind of like Nefarian here, honestly.
You want to give yourself the options where you can use them next turn. I don't know if I necessarily agree with this play from Prophecy, but at this point, I don't feel like it matters too much. Mm-hmm. I'm not sure what he's worried about in playing this. It doesn't feel like Nefarian's ever going to really find a better use. And Infestatorin, but at this stage, it's not that great of a card considering he's already used N'Zoth, and Infestatorin's just basically vanilla stats, just 4/5 worth of stats. Doesn't contest much on the board at the moment either. Looks like Ragnaros the Light Lord's going to be what he has to do here.
Yeah, you can push him damage face and put his faith in the light, I guess. This isn't Tyrion, but it is the Light Lord, so I mean, maybe this is the way he gets to get this done. Is just make a 1/1, make Tyrion. Make Ragnaros. I'm in the same agreement with you. Torian just feels so bad here. It just feels so weak.
Well, he knows he's hero powering.
Yeah. Is he gonna play the Acolyte of Pain as well? I mean, he's getting close to running out of cards in his deck. Yeah, I don't think he can even play the Acolyte of Pain.
Oh, oof. Well, hello there.
Yeah, hello, Holy Nova. And if this game wasn't, hard enough as it was already for Pacoima to win, that was pretty brutal as well.
Yeah.
Oh, he drew Zombie Jowl.
Yeah, well, that's not what you want to see in the last 4 cards of your deck.
No. Oh, he actually lost one. This is the first time we've seen him lose one the whole day.
Yeah.
So just play him Squire. Yeah.
Well, Prophecy needs 1 damage. Oh, sorry, 2 damage. Is there anything that's like 2 damage? Blackman Corruptor does it. Harrison Jones doesn't. Is there any Paladin cards? Nope. Well, looks like Pacoima is just going to tap out. So far in this tournament, Pacoima not having much success with the N'Zoth Paladin. So far, he's 1-3, I believe, with it as his total record. And that was a doozy of a game.
Yeah, save a little mental energy there at the end of it. Scoop it up a little early. The writing was on the wall. I don't think there is a series of draws, even with drawing the rest of his deck, where he could get out of there. So I don't mind the concession there at all, even when you're not dead, because honestly, it's been a long day for him. That deck goes super long. Might as well save all the mental energy you can.
That game alone lasted as long as the entire Shoop versus Prophecy series. So
yeah.
Whew.
Yeah, Prophecy's having to play a back-to-back match as well, so props on him to be able to keep his mental strength up as well, because there's something to be said about getting swept out of your chance to make it in the finals and then kind of just phoning in your next match.